Well, welcome, Diane, Cassandra, Bascom. It's great having you, Stacy. We do miss you all. We trust God that when church do start back soon, that will be this month. All goes well. We'll see everybody in church. Those of you who are on live stream and don't really go to any church, you're free to welcome to join us. We have put everything in place for COVID readiness. We want to protect. We believe in miracles. We believe people could get healed and come. But the government regulation that we anticipate they're coming out with, that was recommended. And so we have sanitizers. We have wash station if you need it. We do have social distancing seating. We could seat comfortable about 150 persons with the square feet area of the building, social distancing. We do have all the protocols for, we do have the scanners, so if our workers and our people, everybody does, we make sure they scan so that when you come in, you wouldn't be getting the virus from anybody. And we want to protect, because those coming in, we have to bear in mind that we have a lot of migrants coming in from South America through the back door. And still we have people, the borders will be open up at some point in time and people will be traveling in. So as a church, we are responsible. So even preaching protocol, dedication of babies protocol, baptism, altar area protocol for prayer time. We do have a number. You could check our Facebook page and we do have it posted. So we have everything in place for, and even when they do allow for children, which they most likely would allow children that are higher in age and over, what you will call primary school age and upward, we do have a multi-purpose hall, social distancing, chairs are 6 feet apart. We do have television, huge big screen television that will be doing the program, the lessons, the worship, so there wouldn't be any interaction. And we are careful to be conscious about the children, that we do consider them. So I want you to be free to Redemption Worship Center open to everybody, and we have a 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning and a 9 o'clock service, and we already have in place contingency for third service 11 o'clock need be. Well, as I say, it's a good day again. And Lisa Balchan, Kurt and Patrina, we do appreciate you all coming on board. I want to talk today 10 things to avoid that will destroy your marriage. All right, 10 things you need to avoid. All right, avoiding these 10 things that will destroy your marriage. So I'll be sharing on that today. It's a very practical session. You could take note. You could apply it for your marriage. You could share this site afterwards. Share it with your friends now, or afterwards you can ask them to have a watch party where they can look at this video presentation via Redemption Worship Center Trinidad Facebook, or it will be on YouTube. Redemption Worship Center YouTube. All right, so I want to begin avoiding these 10 things that will destroy your marriage. Number one, taking your partner for granted. That's one thing you have to guard against. Don't ever think about what you want or what your position is, but not also be concerned about what their position is, what is going through their mind, what is hurting them, what is affecting them. Women normally, most time, will share how they feel, but men suppress their feelings and emotions, and they don't say. So this is for both husbands or wives. All right, that is like you're having a garden or you're having a plant and you're not taking care of it in terms of fertilizing it and taking out the weeds that are around it. And if you notice, when you do backyard garden, you will have a healthy plant like a tomato, sweet pepper, even pimento, chive, or whatever you put there. These weeds will grow up and they will suck out or take all the nutrients from the soil all the water. They draw out everything and leave little or next to nothing. They take it so fast and they grow so big. After a while, they overcrowd the plant that you have that is useful or bearing fruit. And if one does not deal with the weed situation now in terms of their life, in their marriage, it could overgrow and it could overtake your whole marriage and life. So you can't expect to continue to thrive unless you deal with that. Your partner know that you allow your partner to know that you appreciate him or her. Take time to know what your partner like and what your partner dislike. Very important again. Take time to know what is the likes and dislikes of the husband or the wife. And taking note, it will help you to understand that person better. Not just understanding that person better, but allowing you to adjust to do things to help make that person comfortable or happy, vice versa. Him or her must be able to do the same thing for you. All right, so you know what you can and cannot do. You know your limitations, and sometimes you could push a person overboard by taking them for granted, and eventually, before you know it, they're over the ship. So things that will destroy, one of the things that will destroy your marriage is taking your partner for granted. The second thing that one need to bear in mind, don't forget that marriage takes a lot of work. And a lot of times people spend a lot of effort and energy and resources in the courtship. And the premarital counseling, they cross the T's, they dot the I, and they do everything possible that they would want to do to get it started and get it going. But it's like a vehicle. Once you buy it and you have it, unless you don't put in work to maintain that, it takes a lot of effort. Before you know it, a new car could be driving like an old one within 2 years. You didn't change the oil, it run down, you didn't service the parts, you put every hole that you see on the road, you know. And so you need to know that no marriage will be successful without a lot of work put into it. And it's not a magical experience when I get married. It's magic, or it's mystical, all right? And we have to accept the fact that parenting takes a lot of skills, and sometimes when you have children, the focus is so much on the children, and you'll notice that the minute a marriage have a child in it, if it's a girl child, it takes all the father attention. If it's a boy child, it takes a lot of the mother's attention. And just by nature, you know, the male-female gravitate too. And so sometimes you could neglect the work that you need to put into your marriage and spend all the time putting it into your children's life. And one need to be careful to understand that the happiness and the welfare of your children is dependent upon how much priority, how much work you put in your marriage. So we have 3 children, but our children were never allowed to overtake the place where we spend so much time raising them up. We didn't get enough time to put in our marriage. If you didn't put in, you wouldn't get out of it. All right? So don't expect to get out of it what you didn't put in, right? It takes also a lot of skills, marital skills that we need to know. That it's something you have to study. It's something no 2 women they are like. You notice you have 3 children, they're not all alike. It takes a lot of skill set in understanding your partner and using what you call good spiritual tools, psychological, physiological methods and principles. So you have to forever learning how to deal with your marriage and how to make it work, put the amount of work in your marriage. The third thing you need to bear in mind relating to your relationship is that could really destroy your marriage is not talking through the conflicts. And I said it last week, you know, the men build up, but the women express. And sometimes both parties are unwilling to express and talk through the situation of conflict because they feel if we talk, it's going to get worse. Or it thinks he may not understand or they will take it wrong. Communication will help you to understand your partner better, so they will understand what you say and interpret what you say right. So you need to be able to be prepared that don't build it up. Start talking through the conflict once a week or once a fortnight. Sit down when you're rocking in a chair and relaxing, just in a casual and a nice way, say, you know something, we had a good month, a good week, or a good fortnight, but you know, there's something that bothers me that I wanted to share it. And tell me how you feel, so if I was wrong, I would want to know I could correct it, and so that you could sit down and dialogue through it. Don't mix up and bring all the conflicts in one pool. Deal with them at different times in different situations. So you'll end up things like slamming the door, breathing signs, non-verbal, there's what you call some non-verbal communication, twisting your face, twisting your mouth, turning your eyes, watching, being distracted. And so communicating when something is bothering you is important. If you don't do that, or you show what you call non-verbal communication, you're playing with fire. As painful as it may be, the conversation that you have, you must speak up, otherwise problems will start festering, all right, and begin to take a hold of your whole life. So talk about it, deal with it, and get over it, all right? One of the things we must learn to do, don't bring back up yesterday's situation and oh, you was like this, so this happened here. You know, don't leave what was behind unless there is a recurring something that still affects you. Then you choose the time to bring it up. Remember I said last Friday on the marriage series is choose your battle. Choose when to battle. Number 4, failing to romance your partner. All right, we all want to be made to feel special, and you need to know that. And that is why it's so important that you set aside at least minimum one night a week for your partner or for your spouse. Or use it as a regular date night, or share your hopes and dreams. It's amazing how you're so romantic when you're dating and you now get married, and then after all the romance done, no holding hands, no petting, no talking, you know, some of the things that she liked what you did before, now you don't even want to do it with it. And so you need to know what your partner really enjoys and use the opportunity for romance. Intimate relationship is as a result of a good end result, a rewarding, a climaxing of a good time together, conversational wise, emotional wise, physically, how you relate to that person. And so find out what they like, find out what moved them, find out what turned them on, what you say, what you do. And don't be guilty of not doing enough in public and private. Don't take up what you call the old man and the old lady syndrome. Now, sorry to say that. It doesn't mean to say that old people don't hold hands. I always touch my wife and do things sometimes to irritate her, but it also let her know that I'm there and I love her. So you need to know that holding hands, kissing in public, it isn't bad, you know. Smiling with each other, saying good things to each other. And so guard against the feeling to romance your marriage. Number 5 is fighting dirty. And you get a lot of that. It's like a brawl. Sometimes less said is better for you in the time you need to less say it. It's so easy to hurt a person. And let me just say this. Words do hurt a woman more than action. And so when you say derogatory things, when you criticize, when you condemn, when you become a fault finder, both vice versa, you ever tell the man he's lazy, you know he's lazy, but help him to talk a little bit about the little things he do to encourage him to others. Don't use the word lazy, don't use the word good for nothing. Don't use the word slothful. Don't use these kind of words, you know. Find nice words to say it that will help motivate him. So that fighting dirty, eventually, if you keep arguing, quarreling, before you know it, she will express herself physically, and then you will shut off and you will run away from the home, or even become violent, which no couple, male or female, should not be verbally hurting each other, psychological abuse or physical abuse. And so you have to guard against that, where, you know, a recent study by the $1 Million Roundtable group, an international association of life insurance and financial services and professional, found that 43% of married couples argue. And I'll tell you what they argue about just now, but you have to be careful that your arguing does not end up into dissent or withdrawing from each other. Say things to uplift and encourage. Don't ever lift your hands. Don't ever threaten your hands. The next thing you must do is point your hand. Don't ever point your finger on your partner. You are do for you, you know. So don't fight dirty. Sometimes you could fight dirty by not doing a lot of things, not cooking, not doing things for him. Don't hold back your duty as a result of anger. And so fighting dirty is not just about basic things, but the statistical data have shown that number 6 I want to talk about, which causes a lot of problem in marriage, the lack of finances or over too much money. And it says the $1 Million Roundtable, which is the life insurance financial service professionals survey, found that 40% of the married couples argue about money. Money is the issue. And you have to guard over that, because fighting over other things is one thing, but when you start fighting over money, number one, I disagree that the culture now is that because both parties work for a lot of money, one work for more, one work for less, you have them criticizing each other because one feel more superior than the other because of their income earnings. Let me just say this: when you get married, it doesn't matter who work for more, who work for less, the two shall become one, and you see one financial income. And it has shown that now that the statistical data is women now start working for more money than the men. And one of the reasons why these ladies make up their mind to get their degree, the MBAs, they pursue career, they move up the ladder. But from the time a fella get his first degree or O-levels or A-levels, he settled with that. And he become less financially viable or strong. But that don't mean to say he may have other values. He may be a good homemaker, he may plenty things. So don't let money be the issue you fight over. One of the things I encourage every couple, and I see it happening a lot, where they have, after married for 5 years, they still have his account and her account. There is no joint account. Why are you leaving the back door? Oh, it's my money and his money. No, not my money and her money, or his money is all your money. And when you divide it, the power to do anything is less. So I see this one paying the electricity bill, the other one paying the cable bill, this one buying, and that's terrible. That's not good at all. It's a partnership without even in the secular partnership for business, the joint account, but there's a level of accountability. So don't fight over money. It's your money. Both all have to agree on what you spend, agree on a budget, things like that. Who is going to be managing the bills? The one that is not a compulsive spender most times, that's the one that manages the finance. You don't do certain amount of spending without approval or the appreciation of your other party input in it, and that's not making them less. So but you need to watch over fighting over money. All right. So wrong priorities in spending, and that's one of the things that you look at. And so you all have the wrong priority. You buy financial spending, impulse spending, following the Joneses, wrong value system. I always say every couple that get married, the first thing they need to do is start saving for emergency and the future. And we talk about it in many other programs that we have in order to not fight dirty. Let me just say this about a woman or a wife. She wants what you call emotional security. She wants physical security, that nobody will come in and kill and rob them in the house. Emotional security, she will be at peace and not have to concern about the marital relationship and the personality of the individual. And the third part is financial security. Spiritual security, you need to give her as a priest in the home. Don't say that the pastor job. No, you the man, you be the priest. You the one to give them a scripture, pray for your household. And so these physical security, emotional security, spiritual security, and financial security, you need to put a saving. When a woman knows that she have a saving, she feels secure. You need to avoid renting and start owning. Renting is dead money. When you rent, you get another person rich to own another apartment building, and at the end of your renting the years, that money is supposed to go in terms of equity for yours. You deny your children an inheritance. So ban your belly. Don't spend like the Joneses. Go hard. I mean, you knew what your limitations were like when you're getting married. Don't act like if you didn't know that when you get married, you want to buy all these and spend all this and travel all over the world. I mean, enjoy your life, but within reason, that you have you want to know you have an annuity put away for your future. You have an insurance with a medical plan that taking care of you in case of emergency, and you have a physical saving that you could go and take a hold of it in case there job loss or a national crisis in the nation. And then you also need to work on your own home. And you remember, a car is not an equity builder, it's a liability. It's a necessity, but a liability. So avoid fighting over money. As I said, the statistical data, 43% of married couple fight over it. Number 7, letting the passion fizzle. And let me just say this. One of the questions when people fighting over a period of time, I ask them, how often have they been intimate? How often have they been spending time together? And the less time you spend together, the quicker you drift apart. Either of you, and let me just say this, sometimes one party may not be in the mood for intimacy, the other party will be sensitive to the other party. And the party in the mood must know how to help the party who not in the mood. All right? And so if you know your partner is going to be tired, cleaning house, washing wares, doing all these things, you go help do that and eliminate the stress factor, so that party will understand your concern. All right, so don't wait for each other's moods. Recognize each other's needs, and use that part as a parameter to how to relate to your partner, otherwise you'll end up drifting apart. And so number 1, in terms the point in terms of that, don't hold back on your partner needs. And you know what is the man priority need and what is the woman's priority need. Number 8, shutting down sexually when you're angry rather than dealing with the issue. And I call it intimate blackmail. All right. Yeah, some people say, oh, you treat me like that, nothing for you. No pleasure. And so when you're angry, don't shut down that way. You know, that's a part of life need. That's a part. I ain't saying that you're going to be arguing and fighting and go become intimate, get back up and argue and fighting, but learn to reconcile, learn to say good things and divide them. All right? And so it is okay to expect incredible moments like that in your marriage, where you would have these tremendous intimate relationship and not blackmailing each other. Number 9, failing to understand that your marriages have ups and downs. Because you have a little problem, don't mean to say you have a bad marriage. You know, it is okay to expect incredible moments or difficult time in your marriage, but don't expect them to happen every day. So you need to know that every marriage will have little issues, little conflict, little misunderstanding, little ups and downs. But you need to know, you have to understand that and not take it for granted that, well, my marriage is terrible, we fall out for this, fall out for that. Find the 90 things that you enjoy and put aside the 10 things that for the right time to deal with. And maybe when you take the marriage, have a problem and is the other partner, you need to look at yourself first. because sometimes you could be the problem and you're blaming it on your partner. One of the first things when I point one finger at you, remember that I have 3 fingers pointing back at me. So you need to know that. Take an introspection. You're like, before you correct your spouse, wife, before you correct your husband, deal with your own correction. Find out, what about this issue that I'm responsible for? Husband, find out about this issue, what you're responsible for. Maybe accountability, you're working late, not even calling to say, honey, I'm working late, or get stuck up in the traffic. Well, you're not being monitored like a little boy. No, a woman feels comfortable when she knows where her man is, or her husband is, or where he's at, and that she's at peace in her heart. Remember, you are everything to her. So you need to understand marriage does have ups and downs. Don't expect them to happen every day, right? So there is no perfect marriage. Misunderstanding does happen. Number 10, the final thing. In fact, next week I'll talk about successful tips for the husband and successful tips for the wives. And that will be done next week, Friday. And so, number 10, throwing in the towel too easy. We have so come accustomed to treat your partner, some people to treating the partner as if they're disposable. It's easy to throw away or throw in the towel. Vow to rekindle the flame every time. Don't ever use the word divorce or leaving you. That's a tragedy. Those are tragedy for words to say to a spouse, whether wife to the husband. I will divorce you, know. I will leave you, know. And the law on my side. Or they say, I will bring the police to put you out, you know. And you got to find a place to go. Don't use these words. The devil have a way to come in and using what you say to create non-issue that you will fight about and divorce, or bringing third parties into your marriage. All right. So that cost them that concept. Now everybody run to the family court and quick to divorce, without understanding that I need to fight for my marriage. 2 things that one thing that you must not make sure that you don't stay in a marriage if it's abuse, physical abuse. You must not stay in a physical abuse relationship. I'm not saying separate, divorce, but I say separate. Secondly, sexual unfaithfulness is another critical area, because HIV, STDs, all these venereal disease, and you're bringing in spirits. And so you need to know that, draw your line relating to physical abuse and sexual unfaithfulness. Okay? And these are the 2 areas that I tell people that you could separate for and go to counseling, not divorce. So in closing, I want to say, make every effort to not throw in the towel on your relationship. Don't say divorce. Don't say I'm leaving you. Don't say go back by your mother. Don't say I'm going back by my father and mother. You leave to cleave. Don't say I'm calling the police. Don't get the children involved in your fights. Separate them from that. Don't hurt their emotion by trying to paint a picture how bad your mother is, how bad your father is. That's between you are the reason why they're here. And if you did things right, they would not have seen you arguing or quarreling. So I want to encourage you, these 10 things you need to guard against, in terms of that you avoid, so that your marriage will not be destroyed. I want to say this to those of you that are hearing me, especially to leaders and pastors. We cannot tell our people that God will work your marriage out for you if it can't work it out for us. I always say this, that the home is important before the church. And a lot of people put the marriage and the family last, and they put the church and the business first, where they do not have to make a living, how to work for money. No. Sometimes your wife rather have you without a cent in your pocket than you're working and you're destroying your marriage. So I want to say this, the only grounds to separation, not divorce, is for physical abuse and sexual unfaithfulness. And listen what the Bible talks about sexual unfaithfulness. It's not a one-off something that you made a mistake. It's when you're multiple times with multiple partners, in terms of like a compulsive sex addict, or somebody just has a loose way, sleeping around, or unfaithful for that long period of time. And so you need to understand that's the only ground, not for arguing, not for unreconcilable differences of opinion. And let me say this, churches, you need to help your pastor if they're struggling in their marriage, to help them. Don't side up with him or her, or we want you, because be independent in this whole thing. Encourage them to go for counseling. Make sure that you know for sure, and I encourage every board member and every CEO to, if you know your company worker has marital problem, pay for them and send them for counseling, so that you know, if you save the marriage, you save the home, you save the family. If you save the marriage as a pastor, as a CEO, you save the business. And guard that part of your life, because happiness doesn't come with dollars and cents in your pocket or power over any organization. Happiness comes when you have a good relationship with your spouse. The children would be happy, everybody around you would be happy. I'm so thankful that I was able to share this. I pray God that next week Rodi will be with me, and you know, keep praying for her. And we was hoping that she would have been this week, but we trust in God next week. She'll be on the program at least by Friday for the least, that we could talk about the tips for marriage for the husband and the wives. I pray that when we do open back church, Redemption Worship Center, you will come join us. We have everything in place to safeguard for the COVID-19 preparation. We have 2 services on a Sunday at 7 o'clock a.m. and a 9, 1 hour between for re-sanitizing or sanitizing the sanctuary back again at Thursday night at 7 p.m. And also we have put in place already a 3rd service, if need be, for 11 o'clock. I pray God's blessing upon your marriage, your home, and your family. If you know somebody struggling with their marriage and their relationship, encourage them to look at this program with their partner, and it will help them a lot. Father, I pray for every marriage, every home, every family out there. I pray, God, that you will strengthen their relationship, strengthen their marriage. I speak against the works of the enemy and the plans of the enemy to destroy marriages, to destroy home, to destroy churches, to destroy family, to destroy businesses. In the name of Jesus, I give you all the glory. Amen and amen. God bless you.